sniper mentality, your ideal client, and talking specifically to them. I have a video on my Instagram page where I'm talking specifically to people in the hospitality industry. I call them out. I'm talking specifically to people who work in nonprofit. I call them out. You always want to call your people out. Have that sniper mentality. The B, bring them out. Have a very engaging, sometimes controversial if you need it, hook that makes them stop and listen to what you have to say. That could be in the form of a question. That could be in the form of a statement. Welcome to another episode of the $1 Million Messaging Podcast. I'm your host, Cierra Seay. This is the only podcast where you're going to be able to learn how to get more opens, more clicks, and more sales with your marketing, regardless of what industry you're in. Now, today, I want to share with you guys a framework that I created this had to be about 6 years ago, whenever I sat down to create copy for clients. At this particular time, a lot of my clients were coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, regardless. But I figured out 2 years ago that this framework actually works for anybody, right? So if you've ever sat down and you were getting ready to launch an ad, create a funnel, create a website, if you were doing an event, creating content, and you had a really hard time with trying to figure out, like, what are the things that you need to hit on when it comes to the marketing across the board, right? What are the things you need to say in the videos? What are the things that needs to be on the page? This very simple framework that I've literally taught on stages across the world is exactly what you need. So there's 3 things I want you to remember. So the first thing we're going to do, you have to have the mind frame of a sniper. Remember that, sniper. So when you think sniper, you think very intentional. You think very deliberate. You think very planned, like literally knowing every step of the individual that you're looking to target, sometimes at the same time that they find out the information. Sniper. With the sniper mentality, this is how you want to think about your ideal client. So I love giving examples in real time, and I'm literally about to make this up. So let's say you are a fitness trainer and you want to target moms who have babies 2 years and under. So the sniper mentality would be asking yourself, in this video, who are you talking to? You're going to talk specifically to moms who have kids that are 2 years old and younger. What does that mean? That means in that video, on that page, you are saying, hey, moms who have children under the age of 2 or who have children 2 years or under. That way, no one can get confused on exactly who you're talking to. So the sniper mentality means speaking and calling out your ideal client for that particular, piece of marketing, so that no one else can get confused on who you're talking to. So that if that mom sees it, she knows you're speaking exactly to her. So you want to have the sniper mentality. That's the S in this framework. The next part of this framework is the B. I don't even think I mentioned the name of the framework. It's called the SBP Method. But the B stands for bring them out. And yes, when I made this up, I was thinking about T.I. So bring them out means, what can you say that makes someone stop the scroll, gets their attention? And sometimes, depending on what you do, that thing you say may be a little offensive. I'm not telling you to be offensive, but I've had clients who've used that route, especially in the fitness area, right? Saying something like, aren't you tired of being fat? Or you still got that baby weight. That's up to you if you want to say those things, but bring them out means, what can you say to get their attention immediately? So what can you say at the beginning of that video? What can you put at the top of that page? What can you say in that ad that as someone is scrolling through all the ads on TikTok, I'm sorry, not TikTok, but all the ads on Facebook, Instagram, what can you say to actually make someone stop and keep looking at what you have there? So you have to be able to bring them out. And there are different hook formulas. That's what we call it in the marketing world, the hook, that you can create to do that. But it really depends. And I don't want to go off on a tangent as I'm thinking about it, but it does really depend. But you have to bring them out. You have to say something that's worth them stopping to want to continue to listen to what you're saying. And then the P in this method stands for the promised land. What does your ideal client's promised land look like? So go back to the fitness training example. If you are talking to moms who are under 2 years, who have kids under the age of 2, who maybe they gained 50, 60 pounds while they were pregnant, what is their promised land? Maybe their promised land is fitting into the jeans that they wore before they got pregnant. Maybe the promised land is being able to run 3 miles without stopping, if that was something they were able to do before they got pregnant. Don't harp on the bad situation, not the bad situation, but don't harp on the negative reality. You want to focus on the ideal reality. And I always call the ideal reality the promised land, because the more you talk about the promised land instead of the process, the more your ideal client can see themselves at that place at some point in time. A lot of people right now in marketing, they're talking so much about the negative current reality that I honestly believe that it's making people like not even know what the promised land or what the ideal reality could be. Don't do that. Talk about you always want to talk about the promised land. Sniper mentality, your ideal client, and talking specifically to them. I have a video on my Instagram page where I'm talking specifically to people in the hospitality industry. I call them out. I'm talking specifically to people who work in nonprofit. I call them out. You always want to call your people out. Have that sniper mentality. The B, bring them out. Have a very engaging, sometimes controversial if you need it, hook that makes them stop and listen to what you have to say. That could be in the form of a question. That could be in the form of a statement. It could be just you saying something crazy, depending on what industry and what niche you're in. And then the promised land. Always show people what it looks like once they get over that thing that they're in the middle of, so that they can have hope and so they can see the vision of them being exactly where they want to be. People in fitness, finance, those industries, you guys need to do a better job of that. I'll just pick on those two industries the most. But for everyone, no matter what service, no matter what product you have, there is a promised land. And it may be, you may feel like there isn't one, but even if you have a food product, there's a promised land. Maybe people are tired of dry cookies. Your cookie's not dry. Like maybe people are tired of dry sandwiches. Your sandwich is not dry. Figure out your promised land and always, always speak to that. If you have any questions, drop them below. And like always, I keep saying drop them below as if y'all may just only be listening to this. If you have any questions though, go to the YouTube, put the question in the comment, and like always, subscribe, like, share, and give me a review so I can keep doing this podcast for y'all. I'll see y'all on the next episode.